Today is the second tranche of announcements towards building a Atmanirbhar Bharat. The slides will go on, but before we start the slides, just want to let you know that today's initiatives, which are getting announced as a part of the second tranche that we are announcing today, focuses on migrant workers, street vendors, small traders, self-employed people, small farmers. And when I say small farmers, there are a few items we say. So in all, about 9 steps that I will be announcing today. 3 relating to migrant workers, 1 related to the Sishu loan within Mudra, 1 related to street vendors, 1 housing, 1 related to employment generation largely for tribals and in those in the tribal pockets, and 2 related to farmers, particularly small farmers. But even as I say this, since you have been keenly listening and hearing what we are saying, many of them may have overlaps with the next package that we'll announce. So on farmers, for example, it's not as if I'm giving only 2 steps, nothing more. Arey kisan ke liye chhod de kaam. No, there will be more. But today I'm bringing in 2. Just as I said in each of the package, we'll keep in mind and prioritize concerns related to migrant workers, poor, those who are, in need, and therefore that will continue. So if I have not spoken about a certain thing today, it's not as if Government of India has forgotten. After all, let's please remember, within hours of having announced the lockdown, the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana was for the poor, was for transferring cash to the poor, was for giving grains for the poor, and so on. And that's not enough. We will come with more. We are announcing more. So let's not look at each one of the silo as though that was the only thing. As I said earlier, there are tranches of announcements. Many things might overlap. Many of them might get mentioned here as well as mentioned once more somewhere else. So just a broad understanding on that. And before I get to talking about what we are doing on the migrants, I just want to let you know that about 3 crore farmers had availed loans which were given to them earlier in concessional rates, I think, which was direct support to farmers. And those 3 crore farmers had availed of agricultural loans which were over 4 lakh crores. 3 crore farmers who are marginal farmers had already benefited from 4 lakh crores of credit given to them. And those people who have availed of these credit through the Reserve Bank were also given a moratorium. For the next 3 months, you don't have to pay your EMI and so on. Now, the interest subvention, which is normally given for prompt repayment in time, was extended till March. Now we are extending it up to 31st May 2020. So that is a thing which was already availed of, and for that we are giving a bit of an extension. And in the last 2 months, 25 lakh new Kisan credit cards have been given, which entails that they can take concessional credit. They're actually marginal farmers. So we've not forgotten them. And those 25 lakh new Kisan credit card holders have also been given or sanctioned a loan which totals to 25,000 crores. These are recent happenings. So there may have been a lockdown, but the government was not sitting quiet. It has been attending to a lot of those who are in the margins of our society, who are desperately in need of assistance to carry on with their small work. So that is something which I want to draw your attention to before we move on to today's package.
धन्यवाद। मैं सबसे पहले तो मीडिया के अपने मित्रों का आभार प्रकट करता हूं, जिन्होंने आत्मनिर्भर भारत इस संकल्प को, इस अभियान को जन जन तक पहुंचाने का काम किया है। पिछले 2 दिनों में पूरे देश भर में आपने चर्चा को बदला है, एक सकारात्मक सोच खड़ी हुई है। इसके लिए मैं आप सबका बहुत बहुत आभार प्रकट करता हूं। अगर 2014 में भी देखें तो मोदी जी ने अपने सबसे पहले भाषण में यही कहा था कि ये उनकी सरकार वो जो गरीबों के लिए सोचे, जो गरीबों को सुने, गरीबों के लिए जिए, और इसलिए नई सरकार देश के गरीबों को समर्पित है, युवाओं को, महिलाओं को समर्पित है। गांव हो, गरीब हो, पीड़ित हो, वंचित हो, ये सरकार उनके लिए है। हमें गरीब से गरीब आदमी की मदद करनी है। और पिछले 6 वर्षों में आपने देखा होगा, इस देश में गरीबों के उत्थान के लिए मोदी सरकार ने बहुत काम किया। मैं उन योजनाओं पे आज नहीं जा रहा, लेकिन किसान की बात कर रहे हैं। पीएम किसान सम्मान की बात हो, 6,000 हर किसान के खाते में, प्रधानमंत्री फसल बीमा योजना हो, किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड की बात हो, सॉयल हेल्थ कार्ड की बात हो। जो गरीब कभी अपनी इंश्योरेंस के बारे में नहीं सोचता था, 22 करोड़ से ज़्यादा गरीबों की इंश्योरेंस करवाने की बात हो। गरीब का बैंक खाता बैंकों के राष्ट्रीयकरण करने के बाद भी नहीं खुलता था, उन बैंकों का उनका बैंक खाता भी खुला। और इस कोविड-19 की स्थिति में अगर सीधा खाते में पैसा किसी ने भेजा है तो नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार ने पारदर्शिता के कारण भेजा। तो गरीब की हर समय चिंता किसी ने की तो नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार ने। और कल भी जो आपकी चिंता का विषय था, और हम सब भी देखते हैं कि जो गरीब वापस भी जा रहा है उसकी मदद कैसे की जाए, तो आज हम आप सबके सामने आए हैं। कल एमएसएमई सेक्टर की मदद की तो 12 करोड़ लोगों को ये मध्यम लघु सूक्ष्म उद्योग रोजगार देते हैं। अगर उनकी मदद हुई तो अप्रत्यक्ष तौर पर गरीब मजदूर की मदद भी कल की गई। और कहीं ना कहीं जो इतना सकारात्मक वातावरण बना, लोगों के पॉजिटिव मैसेज आए कि ये अच्छा हुआ, इससे उद्योग को फ़ायदा मिलेगा, छोटे उद्योगों को फ़ायदा मिलेगा, तो इससे गरीब को भी बल मिलेगा। तो आज का जो हम करने जा रहे हैं, गरीब के लिए, प्रवासी मजदूर के लिए और 1-2 बिंदु किसानों के लिए, आज बाकी अगले प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में आप सबके सामने आएगा। तो इसमें मुझे केवल इतना कहना है, और मोदी जी ने इसको 12 तारीख को भी माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा था कि आर्थिक पैकेज देश के उस श्रमिक के लिए, देश के उस किसान के लिए है जो हर स्थिति में, हर मौसम में देशवासियों के लिए दिन रात एक करके मेहनत करता है। और इसमें अगर देखा जाए तो जो पहली घोषणा है, जो हमने अब तक कदम उठाए, वो लगभग 3 करोड़ किसानों के लिए जो कृषि ऋण है वो 4,22,000 करोड़ के वो अवेल कर चुके हैं। पिछले 3 महीनों में उसके लिए लोन मोरेटोरियम दिया गया है, ताकि उनको उसमें छूट दी गई है कि 3 महीने तक उनको वापस नहीं करना है। इंटरेस्ट सबवेंशन दी है, ब्याज पर सहायता दी है, त्वरित भुगतान यानी कि प्रॉम्प्ट रीपेमेंट करने पर इनको इंसेंटिव दिया है, क्रॉप लोन्स पर। और ये भी जो 1 मार्च से उनकी ड्यू थी उसको बढ़ाकर 31 मई तक कर दिया है। 25 लाख नए किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड की मंजूरी दी है, जिस पर जो ऋण की लिमिट होगी वो 25,000 करोड़ होगी।
Again, one more thing which I'd like to draw your attention before I go to today's announcements. Liquidity support for farmers and for the rural economy has been happening in the last 2 months. I'm referring only to those things which have happened in March, April, which is the COVID duration, the time when COVID hit us and hit us so badly, resulting in a lockdown. But even then, activities through the banks have been happening. I want to just draw your attention that 63 lakh loans of 86,600 crores have been approved in agriculture area between 1st March and 30th of April. Again, refinancing of nearly 29,500 crores has been provided by the NABARD to all the cooperative banks and the regional rural banks so that they can have onward lending done. And this has happened just in March. Just only in March, NABARD has refinanced 29,500 crores through the rural cooperative banks and the regional rural banks. Then again, rural infrastructure, also through a fund which is operated by the NABARD, is the RIDF, which is the Rural Infrastructure Development Fund. Through this, only again in March 2020, a support of 4,200 crores has been provided for rural infrastructure. So rural areas and their infrastructure work is also being provided for in March alone to the extent of 4,200 crores, and that's happened during the COVID period. And finally, state governments do also get working capital assistance, and to the extent of 6,700 crores have been sanctioned for them to procure agricultural produce, which means they can take things from the farmer, they can provide things to the farmer, and when they procure agricultural produce, that money goes into the hands of the farmers themselves. And what is the amount there? 6,700 crore as working capital was sanctioned for state agencies to do the agricultural produce procurement. That again is money going into the hands of the people in the ground, particularly in the rural areas. I'll go over to the urban poor, but before that in Hindi.
कृषि के क्षेत्र में, क्योंकि आपको पता है पिछला सीज़न भी 2 महीने देश के लिए भी और देश के कृषि की अर्थव्यवस्था के लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण था, तो उसके लिए पिछले मार्च और अप्रैल महीने में 63 लाख ऋण मंजूर किए गए, जिसकी लगभग जो अमाउंट है वो 86,600 करोड़ रुपया है, और इससे बल कृषि क्षेत्र को मिला है। विशेष तौर पर किसान के लिए बहुत बड़ी बात है। गांव में कोऑपरेटिव बैंक, रीजनल रूरल बैंक इनकी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका रहती है, और कोऑपरेटिव बैंक और रीजनल रूरल बैंक को मार्च 2020 में नाबार्ड ने 29,500 करोड़ रुपया के रीफाइनेंस का प्रावधान किया है। ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में आधारभूत ढांचे के विकास के लिए 4200 करोड़ रुपए का सहयोग रूरल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट फंड के माध्यम से राज्यों को ये मार्च में राशि उपलब्ध करवाई गई। इसके अलावा जो फसल की खरीद, कृषि उत्पाद की खरीद के लिए 6700 करोड़ रुपए की वर्किंग कैपिटल भी, कार्यशील पूंजी भी राज्यों को उपलब्ध करवाई गई है।
I spoke about the rural areas, rural poor, rural money reaching the hands of the farmers and so on. Now I just very quickly mention about urban poor. In just the last 2 months, again, during the COVID period, again, what activity has happened to reach out to the urban poor, which includes migrants? Government of India has permitted state governments to utilize State Disaster Response Fund, which goes from the center, for setting up shelter for migrants and providing them food and water. Just rough estimate that I'm giving you, 11,000 crores were sent in that name through the SDRF, with which they run the shelter homes, with which they give them food, with which they take care of them. And that money was also sent from the center. Of course, states do have a right, but that was given. And using that money, many of the migrants have been attended to. So I want that to be kept in context when we talk about attending to the migrants. Again, there are shelter homes which are under the shelter for urban homeless category. That is something which normally is there. But in those shelter for urban homeless, 3 meals are provided entirely at the cost of the central government. So homeless who live in urban areas, particularly in the COVID situation, are getting 3 meals per day. And I'm not saying this as though, oh, we've done this. I'm saying more from the point of view of we are conscious. We are attending to the migrants and we are giving them in various different ways. Food, taking care of them in the shelters, reaching cash to them. All this has been done, and therefore I'm enumerating. And did I do this some other time last year? No. I am showing you what has happened in the last 2 months, the critical lockdown period. So in shelter homes, 3 meals are being provided for people who are urban homeless. Now, the other thing, you may recall when the Prime Minister addressed the nation, how India's capacities can be utilized so that we can serve the globe, and how those capacities are lying dormant, and we are the ones who have to give the stimulus. All of us will have to. 12,000 self-help groups all over the country. This is an example which Honorable Prime Minister referred to. 12,000 SHG groups have produced over 3 crore of masks and 1.20 lakh liters of sanitizers, again during this COVID period. And the self-help groups in urban centers are with urban poor. So urban poor are contributing also in this COVID period. And self-help groups, as you know, is something which is supported by the central government also. Another experiment which was successful is for disbursing revolving funds to the SSGs, and these revolving funds for the self-help groups have also become on board a Paisa portal. It is called PA, all in capital, I is small and SA, Paisa portal, as of April. And now many state governments, seeing the pilot project which had happened in Gujarat, want their people also to get onto this, and through this a lot of across the state benefits which they can get will be available for the SHGs. And lastly, for the urban poor, 7,200 new SHG groups have been formed, newly formed for the urban poor, and that commenced from 15th March. Critical COVID time. New self-help groups for whom assistance get given, and they get benefit from revolving funds and so on to catch on with what they want to do for their livelihoods. So during these 2 months, COVID period, you have these activities which have happened with central government participating actively in these 2 months only.
प्रवासी मजदूर और शहरी गरीब, ये चर्चा का विषय पिछले कुछ दिनों में भी रहा, लेकिन मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ हमारी सरकार ने पिछले वर्षों में भी इनके किया, और इस समय में तो विशेष तौर पर हम लोगों ने आपदा राहत के माध्यम से जो फंड, स्टेट डिज़ास्टर रिस्पांस फंड के माध्यम से उपलब्ध, उनको हमने राज्यों को करवाया। ये लगभग 11,000 करोड़ रुपये से ज़्यादा है, ताकि इन लोगों को उसमें से राहत दी जा सके, आपदा राहत हो सके, उसके लिए इस्तेमाल किया गया। और यही नहीं, हाइजीन का ख्याल रखते हुए 3 मील्स एक दिन में प्रति व्यक्ति के लिए इन शेल्टर होम्स में उपलब्ध करवाई गई, ऐसा प्रावधान वहाँ पर करवाया गया। और जो हमारे स्वयं सहायता समूह हैं, जिसको आप सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स भी कहते हैं, ऐसे 12,000 स्वयं सहायता समूह ने 3 करोड़ मास्क और 1,20,000 लीटर सैनिटाइजर्स का उत्पादन किया है। ये एक अपने आप में बहुत बड़ी बात है, और ये संकट की घड़ी में हमारे काम, और ये बड़ा काम देश के लिए स्वयं सहायता समूह की हमारी बहनों ने किया है। यही नहीं, 7200 नए स्वयं सहायता समूह इस समय में बनकर और शुरू हैं पिछले 2 महीनों में। और जो रिवॉल्विंग फंड सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप के लिए पैसा एक पोर्टल के माध्यम से हमने शुरू किया था गुजरात में पायलट प्रोजेक्ट, अब उसको पूरे देश भर के अलग अलग राज्यों में शुरू किया जाएगा ताकि इनको और लाभ मिल सके। आपको याद होगा कुछ दिन पहले जब हमने घोषणा की थी तो सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप के लिए भी 10 लाख से बढ़ाकर 20 लाख रुपए उसकी लिमिट कर दी थी, तो इससे भी उनकी कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग में मदद मिलेगी।
There's definitely a lot of concern and a legitimate concern about migrant workers now going back to their respective states, and will they be there without any opportunities to earn their livelihood? So I would like to draw your attention to say that you know that we had announced the increase in the average wage rate from 182 to 202 rupees. I had made an announcement once earlier. Now, the question of these people returning to their states, will they stay without any provisioning? We have already generated 14.62 crore man days or person days of work generated up to 13th May, which is actually 40 to 50% more persons who have got enrolled compared to last May. So when there was no COVID, what was the number? It is at least 30 to 40%, 40 to 50% more than what it was before. We have enrolled all of them. We are making provision through the Rural Development Ministry to ensure that they get enrolled, they get work, they get, the due payments. So work offered is now to 2.33 crore wage seekers. I think the data is of yesterday, in about 1.87 lakh gram panchayats. So the migrant workers who are going back, and if in case they are joining the Manrega there, are being actively enrolled and provision through the respective ministries being done, and they are being taken. We've ensured that they're going to be entertained even there. They're not going to be sitting for wanting of some basic work. States and union territories have been advised to provide work to these migrant workers as per the provisions of this Manrega Act. So we are continuing to monitor, and the work during the monsoon will also be actively taken up, whether for plantation, whether for horticulture, whether for livestock related sheds, related building, vagera. So on all of them, these workers who go from here are going to be actively engaged. So I just want that to be made sure. The annual actual expenditure till date is around 10,000 crore. Now, even if it's more, we are making provisioning for that. We want to give that right to minimum wage universally to all workers. So that is one of the major things we are working towards, and as you know, it's all discussed in the parliament. It is getting, work is done in the parliament, it is happening there, but I'm giving you some of the highlights. Second is also the regional disparity in minimum wage which exists. We are trying to get over that problem, to get over the disparity which prevails by saying if there can be a national floor wage concept which can be accepted by all the states, so that the disparity which prevails between states of minimum wages can be gotten over. We are also talking about compulsorily giving appointment letters for everybody who is taken in, so that it gets formal, and also making sure annual health checkup is made mandatory for all the employees. Benefits also for workers in the interstate migration of workers, so that nowadays we come to know that workers don't get recruited through an agency or a group, which are normally the groups which bring in unskilled workers. Now employers are directly taking them on, and therefore for that also, coming from various destinations, we want to have a definition of interstate migrant workers. Again, on migrant workers, this will help in defining them better and reaching out benefits to them better. All this is in the parliament. I'm not saying it as a part of this package, but I'm only giving you a clear picture that we are committed towards improving the lot of the workers and making sure that migrant workers and other workers are treated a lot more with their formal benefits reaching them. Portability of welfare benefits is also being contemplated in the parliament for migrant workers. Again, looking at pan-India to all districts, we want to extend the ESIC benefits to all establishments which employ at least 10 people or more, and in some of the notified districts. Looking at also employees, establishment which have less than 10 employees, we want to, at least in a voluntary basis, make sure ESIC can be extended to them on a voluntary basis, because they're very small. We don't want to burden them with anything. The other thing that we're looking at is to make it mandatory to have ESIC coverage through notification by the central government for employees who are working in hazardous industries. Because even if they're small and they don't get included through a central notification, we want to make sure ESIC coverage is given to all those who are working in smaller units but which are engaging in hazardous activities. They get the benefit of ESIC coverage. And social security schemes are being extended even to gig workers and platform workers. That is now urban phenomena, and they should get that coverage. So we want to bring gig workers into it. We're also looking at reskilling of retrenched workers. Now in the context of COVID, this was all designed before, but in the context of COVID, we probably will have a situation where a lot of retrenched workers will need to have a reskilling exercise. And again, all occupations should be opened for women with night working rights, and also there making sure safeguards are provided for all of them. Provision also for social security funds for unorganized workers, and gratuity to be given for fixed term employment. So these are some of the things which are our commitment, which is revealed in the labor codes. 44 labor different acts have all been now compressed with extensive discussions and consultation. I must appreciate the Ministry of Labor, the minister, senior minister, Gangwarji, together with the secretary, have engaged with all strata, all stakeholders, all strata of workers, to make sure that their concerns are addressed, and therefore the possibility of having those 44 laws being reduced to 4 codes. Highlights I've given you are waiting in the Parliament. Our commitment lies in having them passed after discussing in all the standing committees.
लेबर कोड के माध्यम से हम लोग जहां मजदूरों को लाभ देने जा रहे हैं, अगर आप देखेंगे तो देश में जो न्यूनतम वेतन है वो लगभग 30% वर्कर्स ही उसका लाभ उठा पाते हैं। समय पर उनका वेतन का भुगतान नहीं हो पाता। अनऑर्गेनाइज जो असंगठित क्षेत्र है उसमें ये दिक्कत है, और इसीलिए यूनिवर्सलाइजेशन की जो बात कही गई है कि न्यूनतम वेतन की यूनिवर्सलाइजेशन की जाएगी, पूरे देश भर में एक जैसा उसका हो, कम से कम एक न्यूनतम वेतन गरीब से गरीब मजदूर को मिले, इसके लिए इस कदम को उठाया गया है। और जो क्षेत्रीय असमानता है, जो रीजनल डिस्पैरिटी है न्यूनतम वेतन में, उसको भी इसके माध्यम से दूर किया जाएगा, वैधानिक रूप इसको दिया जाएगा, और नेशनल फ्लोर वेज इसमें इंट्रोड्यूस की जाएगी। यही नहीं, जो इसको तय करने के तरीके हैं मिनिमम वेजेस, उसको और सरलीकरण इसका किया जाएगा, ताकि इसमें कंप्लायंस ज़्यादा हो और रुकावटें कम हो। नियुक्ति पत्र भी सभी मजदूरों को मिलेंगे, और यही नहीं, साल में एक बार स्वास्थ्य का चेकअप भी होगा, हेल्थ चेकअप भी इनका होगा, और जो खतरनाक क्षेत्र में काम करने वाले, जहां खतरा रहता है, ऐसे क्षेत्रों में काम करने वाले जिनके काम करते हैं मजदूर, उनके लिए ऑक्यूपेशनल सेफ्टी एंड हेल्थ कोड भी लाया जाएगा, जो उनकी सुरक्षा और स्वास्थ्य का ख्याल रखेंगे। यही नहीं, पोर्टेबिलिटी जो है वेलफेयर बेनिफिट्स की, ये भी सभी प्रवासी मजदूरों को मिलेगी, और ईएसआईसी का लाभ भी, इसका भी पैन इंडिया पूरे देश भर में इसकी कवरेज सभी जिलों में हमारे मजदूरों को मिल पाएगी, चाहे वो इस्टेब्लिशमेंट जो संस्थान है वो 10 से ज़्यादा वाला है, उतने तक का है। और इसके अलावा मैंडेटरी ईएसआईसी कवरेज भी नोटिफिकेशन से माध्यम से सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने सभी एम्प्लॉयज़ को जो ऐसे खतरनाक क्षेत्रों में काम करने वाले उनके लिए होगी। सोशल सिक्योरिटी स्कीम भी गिग वर्कर्स के लिए और प्लेटफॉर्म वर्कर्स के लिए मिलेगी। रीस्किलिंग करनी बहुत ज़रूरी हो गई है, क्योंकि जो लोग वापस गए हैं काम करने के लिए उनको वापस उनको स्किल प्रदान करके वहाँ पर उनका कैसे लाभ मिल सके, रोजगार मिल सके, इस दिशा में भी काम किए जाएंगे। और सोशल सिक्योरिटी फंड का भी असंगठित क्षेत्र के लिए प्रावधान करने का हम प्रयास करेंगे, प्रोविजन किया जाएगा। और जो महिलाओं के लिए कामकाज के क्षेत्र खुले हैं, उसमें रात्रि के समय अगर काम करना पड़ता है, ड्यूटी करनी पड़ती है, तो उसमें सेफगार्ड्स अलग अलग तरह के लाए जाएंगे।
Quickly of yesterday's, you know, we've spoken about 3 lakh crore emergency working capital facility. We have also spoken about no global tenders for 200 crore, up to 200 crore for Indian, small companies also to bid for those and so on. So yesterday's announcement, I thought I'll very quickly give you. I will be providing this one slide. I'm spending not very much of a time on that. I'll move over to talking about one thing there. If you can please go back to the previous slide. One thing there on the tax deduction at source and tax collected at source, where we've reduced the rate by 25%. I will, after the presentation, have Revenue Secretary give you a clear explanation of who it includes and who it doesn't. So the TDS and TCS explanation, you have the Finance Secretary next to me, who is also the Revenue Secretary, who will be able to explain it. But otherwise, that slide will be given to you. So instead of going too much into detail, I just want to highlight the fact the EPF support of paying 24%, the 12% of employer, 12% of the employee is borne by the Government of India. 24% is being borne by the Government of India for the past 3 months, and we have extended that for the next 3 months also. June, July, August is also getting added. This is something which I did mention yesterday. And similarly for others, it has been reduced from 12 to 10% for the employer and the employee. However, the employee will get the 10% for the private, for the government-related public sector undertakings, where the government pays the 12 plus 12.
पिछले कल जो सूक्ष्म लघु और मध्यम उद्योग के लिए घोषणा की गई थी, उसका बड़ा कारण ये भी है, और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अपने 12 तारीख के भाषण में कहा भी था कि हमारे लघु मंझोले उद्योग जो हैं, ये जो हमारे MSME हैं, ये करोड़ों लोगों की आजीविका का साधन है, जो आत्मनिर्भर भारत के लिए हमारे संकल्प का मजबूत आधार है। और इसीलिए पिछले कल लाखों करोड़ रुपए का जो बेनिफिट दिए गए, मैं कहूँगा सहयोग दिया गया। इन लोगों ने कभी मदद नहीं मांगी, सहयोग मांगा, और सहयोग देने का काम कल भारत सरकार ने मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में किया है MSME सेक्टर के लिए। और उसमें ही एक बड़ा सहयोग था, मार्च, अप्रैल, मई महीने में एम्प्लॉय प्रोविडेंट फंड 12% एम्प्लॉय और एम्प्लॉयर का हिस्सा भारत सरकार दे रही है, और अब इसको अगले 3 महीने जून, जुलाई, अगस्त तक और बढ़ा दिया गया है। इसके अलावा जो 12% दोनों को देना पड़ता था काम देने वाले को, अब उसको 10% कर दिया गया है। लेकिन जो भारत सरकार के सेंट्रल PSCs हैं, वो अपना 12% ही देंगे।
I go over to today's announcements. I said there are 3 steps that we want to explain about the migrants. The first thing relates to free food grain. Free food grain supply to all migrants for the next 2 months. How is this? You're aware, we had already announced that for the public distribution system-based, card-based people who get their regular quota of rice or wheat and in their residences, we had added free 35 kgs for them, either of rice or wheat, and also said 5 kgs per individual, but per card 1 kg of pulse was announced earlier. And that additional 5 per month kg of wheat or rice was being given free. That was made clear. Now what we are saying is that continues, that remains intact. But for those who are non-card holders, meaning they are neither under the National Food Security Act, nor are they holders of any state level cards. For them, they shall be given 5 kgs per person of wheat or rice, or 1 kg of chana, so that is for per family. And if the person is remaining without card, he can also get it. We are engaging with the state governments to make sure that they know where these migrants are, they can approach them and give them, because most of these migrants who have no cards are staying in those camps which are being run either by the government or by the NGOs, and therefore, based on a rough assessment which has been given to us by all the state governments, we think there are about 8 crore migrants for whom benefit will reach through this free food grain supply. The central government will take the cost and they will not be charged. 3,500 crores will be spent on this intervention within the next 2 months. So I know migrants are also moving out, either they're going back, very few are coming back. Irrespective, we are saying for the next 2 months, they shall get free rice or wheat and also 1 kg per card, per family. Without card also, you can get your rice, wheat or wheat or chana. So this will reach through the state governments. State governments will be implementing agencies. They will identify the migrants. They will take care of the full distribution and they will provide the details. The initial assessment is what I've told you. The numbers may change depending on how the state governments are going to. We've made provision for this many. That's exactly what I want to convey.
प्रवासी मजदूर जो भारत और मैं कहूँगा राष्ट्र निर्माण में लगे हैं, उनके लिए राशन की सुविधा उपलब्ध करवाने के लिए ऐसे 8 करोड़ प्रवासी मजदूरों के लिए 3500 करोड़ रुपए का प्रावधान मोदी सरकार करवाने जा रही है। जो नेशनल फूड सिक्योरिटी एक्ट में नहीं आते या जिनको राज्यों का राशन कार्ड नहीं मिल पाता या उसकी बेनिफिशियरीज लिस्ट में नहीं है, वो भी इससे वंचित ना रह जाएं। ऐसे 8 करोड़ प्रवासी मजदूरों के लिए 3500 करोड़ रुपए का प्रावधान, यानी कि उनको 5-5 किलो गेहूं या चावल मिलेंगे और साथ में 1 किलो चना, प्रति फैमिली 1 किलो चना और प्रति व्यक्ति 5 किलो गेहूं और चावल भी अगले 2 महीनों तक मिलते रहेंगे। इसके लिए मोदी सरकार 3500 करोड़ रुपए का प्रावधान कर रही है। इसको लागू करने की जिम्मेदारी राज्य सरकारों की है।
The next point is, I go back to referring to the Prime Minister's address to the nation where he said 5 pillars, and one of them is talking about technology-driven systems. This is one classic example for that, where in order to benefit migrant workers, we are coming up with a national portability of the cards, which is public distribution ration cards can be used in any ration card, any ration shop in any part of the country as you move along. So if there is a ration card holder, today he is in Bihar or Karnataka, tomorrow he moves to Rajasthan, he can take his food ration from any ration shop in that state. So national portability, which is now being defined as one nation, one ration card, one nation, one ration card, will be implemented, and by August 2020, which is another 3 months, within 3 months, 67 crore beneficiaries in 23 states, which means the 67 crore beneficiary is 83% of all the PDS population that we are talking about. 83% of all the PDS population will get covered by this one nation, one ration card. And we assure 100% coverage of national portability of these cards by March 2021. 83% is already done. So all the states and union territories will complete full FPS automation by March 2021.
आज के समय में अगर देखा जाए तो जो प्रवासी मजदूर था उसको सबसे बड़ा संकट आया, लेकिन टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से आने वाले समय में उनको कभी भगवान ना करे कोविड-19 जैसी स्थिति ना आए, लेकिन अगर कुछ भी होता है, स्थिति ना भी आए, वैसे भी चले, तब भी वो देश के किसी कोने में हो, वो कहीं पर भी अपने राशन कार्ड का इस्तेमाल कर सकें। वन नेशन वन राशन कार्ड, ये योजना हम लाने वाले हैं और इसके माध्यम से आप देश के किसी कोने में भी किसी भी उचित मूल्य की दुकान से अपना राशन ले सकते हैं, जिसको हम डिपो भी कहते हैं, राशन डिपो भी कहते हैं, ताकि राशन वितरण प्रणाली से जो आपके हिस्से का आप उसको ले पाएँ। और इसका अगर देखा जाए तो आज तक टेक्नोलॉजी के उपयोग से, चाहे वो जनधन खाते हो, आधार नंबर हो, मोबाइल हो, इसके माध्यम से पारदर्शिता मोदी सरकार लेकर आई और लाखों करोड़ पिछले कुछ वर्षों में बचाया भी है और वापस गरीबों के उत्थान के लिए लगाया। तो इससे भी जहां गरीब को लाभ मिलेगा देश के किसी कोने में राशन लेने के लिए, वहीं पर देखा जाए तो 23 राज्यों में 67 करोड़ बेनिफिशियरी जो हैं, वो 83% पीडीएस की पॉपुलेशन वो अब तक इस पे कवर हो चुकी है और मार्च 2021 तक हम 100% उसको कवर कर लेंगे नेशनल पोर्टेबिलिटी में, ताकि वो देश के किसी कोने में जाकर भी अपने राशन कार्ड का इस्तेमाल कर सकें। ये अपने आप में क्रांतिकारी कदम गरीब मजदूर, प्रवासी मजदूर के लिए होगा कि वो देश के किसी भी कोने में जाकर अपने हक का राशन किसी भी राशन डिपो से ले सकता है, ऐसा उसके लिए सुविधा होगी।
The last step for the migrant workers, we spoke about their food, their ration, portability of their ration. Now I'm talking about affordable rental accommodation for the migrant workers or the urban poor. Government has plans to launch, and very quickly it shall launch under the PM Awas Yojana for the migrant labor and urban poor, a particular scheme of affordable rental housing scheme, whereby we have 3 different ways in which we want to achieve it. We are asking incentivizing manufacturing units, industries, institutions and associations to, on their private land, build and develop affordable rental housing complexes. And we are also converting a lot of government funded housings in major cities which are remaining vacant into affordable rental housing accommodation. They can become affordable rental housing complexes, and this shall be done on a PPP mode through concessionaire agreements, through which they can invest somewhat some money to keep it up and also somewhat some money to make it ready, and then derive the rental, like the way the roads have, the toll little collections. Similarly here they can collect small amount of rent and make some arrangement. Incentivizing also state governments to do the same. Central government organizations will also undertake in similar lines. The detailed guidelines will come from the ministry sooner. So urban migrants, urban poor now can look forward to having at least some basic rental accommodation for themselves.
प्रवासी मजदूर और शहरी गरीब के लिए, जहां वो काम करते हैं शहरों में, वहां पर कम कीमत पर उनको किराए पर मकान मिल पाए, रहने की सुविधा मिल पाए, इस बड़ी योजना का संकल्प लेकर मोदी जी आए हैं। और मेरा मानना है कि जिस तरह से हर घर को बिजली, हर गांव तक बिजली पहुंचाने का काम, हर व्यक्ति का बैंक खाता खोलने का काम, हर बहन को गैस सिलेंडर देने का काम, और 2022 तक हर गरीब को सर ढकने के लिए छत देने का काम मोदी सरकार करने वाली है, उसी तरह से एक बहुत बड़ी योजना ये भी है कि कम कीमत वाले, कम किराए वाले ऐसे घर आने वाले समय में मिलेंगे, और जिसका प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना के अंतर्गत इस योजना को लाया जाएगा, जो कि हमारे अब के बने हुए घरों को भी उसमें इंक्लूड कर सकती है, जो सरकार के अभी बने और कुछ जगह खाली होंगे। उद्योगपति अपनी ज़मीन पर बनाना चाहें तो उनको भी इंसेंटिवाइज करके करेंगे, ताकि वो भी अपने काम करने वाली मजदूरों के लिए अपनी फैक्ट्री या उसके आसपास रहने की व्यवस्था बनाएं, या राज्य की सरकारों को, उनकी एजेंसियों को हम लोग प्रेरित करेंगे, लाभ देंगे, ताकि वो भी अपने राज्य में काम करने वाले ऐसे मजदूरों के लिए सुविधाएं तैयार करके दें।
I move over to the Sishu loans of Mudra. This is a way in which we are going to help the smallest of small credit takers from the banks, where after the RBI giving 3 months moratorium, when they come back to have to pay the interest, the EMI, they will have a little problem, and we want to support them with some interest subvention. Incentive being, if you pay in time promptly, you get the 2% incentive, interest subvention incentive. So the current portfolio of Mudra Sishu loans, you know Mudra has 3 different types of loans. The Sishu is up to 50,000 is what they take as loan, only 50,000 rupees or less. People who have taken loans 50,000 or lesser, after the 3-month moratorium, when they come back to paying the EMIs, will have for the next 12 months an interest subvention support which will be of 2%, and that support will entail a total relief of 1,500 crores, which is for all the Sishu loan holders. Now, I just want to give you a broad indication of number. I don't think it's possible for me to straight away tell you the exact number, but I can indicate to you, because up to 50,000 will mean some people will have 10,000, some might have 15,000, some others might have 20. So actually, to get the actual number of beneficiaries, I might need a little more time, but roughly, if this outstanding is 1.62 lakh crores, if the total outstanding of Sishu loans under the Mudra category is 1.62 lakh crores, and on the assumption that all of them have taken 50,000, the maximum limit, it will be something like 3 crore, more than 3 crore people. And therefore, if this 3 crore is a conservative estimate, it can be slightly more than that. It will benefit, this 2% interest subvention will benefit about 3 crore people who are beneficiaries of the Mudra Sishu loan. I'm not talking of all the 3 categories, only the Sishu category, which means 50,000 or less loans.